We are live. What is up, everybody? It's your boy Taj Ben John. I'm here to talk to you today about a very interesting article that came up and a really interesting topic that came up today. We're talking Friday. It is March 22nd or March 22nd on Friday. Yep. Oof, long day. Yeah, so anyway, pretty much like I don't know if you've already seen this, but there's been a lot of controversy surrounding some budget spending agreements that the executive branch, Biden, has made with the legislative branch. So that's like the House Senate and the House Representatives. And looking at it, just from like the titles that you'll see from these articles, there are so many things that were agreed upon, right? A lot of concessions were made on both sides. But seeing that people want to focus on this one issue, like, kind of irks me. I just kind of want to dig into it with you guys a little bit. So, if you want to look at this article right here, Biden agrees to ban LGBTQ pride flags at U.S. embassies. That means that at U.S. embassies in places like Europe, places like Africa, places like Latin America, Canada, whatever, Japan, whatever, we can no longer have things like BLM flags and pride flags at those embassies. And a lot of Republicans are celebrating this as if it's like some sort of massive victory. It's like, yeah, we won a culture war. But this was a concession that the Biden administration seems to have made just in regards to not having a government shutdown. So this is like a very culture war-ish issue. Doesn't really affect anybody on the large scale of things. The conservatives seem to love this, and a lot of people on the left are kind of like really mad at Biden for this. So some people are saying, looking at these tweets real quick, reading glasses. All right, so people are saying, is there a single area in which Biden won't betray us? Other people are saying, is there a good reason the flag should be flown at U.S. embassies? Other people are like, this is a betrayal. I'm leaving the Democrat Party because of this. Yeah, so there's like a lot of pushback, a lot of like shakeups on it. I personally, if we can get things passed, I'm going to show you guys what got passed earlier as well. If we can get things passed and we have to give up flying like political messages on our embassies, I'm completely fine with that. So let's go back to the past, right over here. And in this article right here, I just kind of want to go over with you. It's from the Daily Mail, co.uk. And so, yeah, even the Daily Mail, the article I'm about to read, even they circle in on the pride flag part. Biden set to ban pride flags being flown outside American embassies as part of talks with Republicans over a $1 trillion spending deal. It's actually 1.2 trillion. But yeah, so a bunch of House Republicans and House Dems have finally agreed on. They're giving like the verbal consent for this to happen right now. It's gonna get signed on Tuesday, hopefully, before the shutdown. And they haven't released all the deals. I mean, the entire deal for the funding. All right, let's just read all of it. Let's just read it. Let's just read it all. Let's read it all. All right, so tucked into a soon-to-be-released deal to fund the government, a provision that would stipulate only U.S. flags can be flown over American embassies. Embassies sometimes fly flags like the rainbow LGBTQ flag to celebrate Pride Month or other occasions. The spending deal will ban this practice and any other flags that are being flown overhead, a source told DailyMail.com. House Republicans and Senate Democrats have been hashing out a deal to fund 6 agencies of government behind closed doors ahead of a Friday deadline for a partial government shutdown. So if they don't sign this into law, then the government goes into partial shutdown where certain certain agencies will be shut down. So the text of the $1 trillion bill has not been made public, with the clock ticking to give lawmakers any time to read the bill and vote on it before Friday at 11:59 p.m. The House already signed it as of now. It is 10:53 p.m. as I read this. It's expected to pass both chambers despite opposition from rightward flank, and President Joe Biden is expected to sign into law. Stuffy today, huh? Pollen. The deal will provide money for the Department of Defense, Financial Services, Homeland Security, Labor HHS Education, State Foreign Operations, and the Legislative Branch. So the bill is expected to include 12,000 new special immigrant visas for Afghan allies and a 1-year extension for international HIV/AIDS prevention efforts. Republicans, meanwhile, are expected to tout funding for additional migrant detention beds. One flashpoint to watch in the deal is funding for a United Nations program that provides special relief to Palestinian refugees. So that's the UNRWA, United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestinian refugees, and has decades of provided healthcare, food, and infrastructure for education in Gaza. That one's been controversial because during October 7th, not a lot, there have been about, I think, like 7 to 12 different people from UNRWA have been members and like participants in October 7th, in the massacre of October 7th. Oh, it says it in an article. 1 second. However, the agency has more recently become famous for 12 of its 30,000 employees allegedly taking part in the October 7th massacre, resulting in the murder of over 1,000 Israeli civilians. After it was alleged that UNRWA workers were Hamas sympathizers, Hamas is like the terrorist group representing Palestine, Republicans demand the agency be defunded. UNRWA currently receives funding through the annual State Department funding bill. The State Department, which is included in the deal Johnson released Sunday. That's Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House. Yeah, so this is a picture, Pride flag, Black Lives Matter flag, more Pride flags. This is Denmark. This one right here looks like it is in Seoul. That's interesting why they have a Black Lives Matter flag in Seoul. Like, I don't know what that does. I'm okay with these being gone if we have like funding for different things before a shutdown. Like, there are people whose tangible lives are affected by a shutdown. I don't care about virtue signaling in this respect, in this regard. I'm gonna skip this part about UNRWA. It's Republicans saying, "Oh, I don't want to fund it." More Republicans being like, "We can fund Gazans through other ways besides UNRWA." All right, cool. All right. Talking about UNRWA so much, man. Who gives a fuck? All right. Okay, so Congress previously passed a $460 billion funding deal on March 8th, just hours before the money allocated for the agencies ran out. The deal secured conservative policy victories in the $460 billion. What are those policy victories? Okay, so that bill included funding for 6 federal agencies, including Commerce, Justice, Science, Energy, Water, Interior, Environment, Military Construction, VA, and Transportation, and HUD. It also imposed deep cuts for the EPA, 10%, ATF 7%, FBI 6%, because the Republicans just don't like government, and they don't like big government. Boo-hoo-hoo. All right, I want to go to a different article as well. I feel like we can get more into the weeds on details regarding... Can we go back? Can we go back? All right, cool. Daily Mail, NBC News... Let me see what else we can find. I read something else. Biden gay flag. Let's go Biden gay flag banned. Let's see. Bloomberg, Forbes. Let's go to Forbes. You can trust me. You can trust Forbes. Trust Forbes, everybody. Trust them. All right, my 1 of 4 free articles, and here's a massive ad. Great. Thanks, Forbes. All right. So, White House agrees to ban pride flags at U.S. embassies and spending bill deal. All right. So, the top line, I'm going to reread this one, too. I'm going to see if I can find more details. Yum. All right. So, it's a $1.2 trillion spending deal. Scrolling through it some more. Okay. So, it still allows, like, POW MIA flag. The flags of Indian tribal governments, sovereign flags of other countries, flags of state insular area, or the DC flag for domestic locations, and flags of different U.S. agencies. Okay, good. It prevents Confederate flags. That's not part of the headlines. All right, that'd be so wild if it banned like the BLM and the Pride flag, but allowed Confederate flags to be flown. That'd be so insane. Okay, so out of the $1.2 trillion spending bill that we had to agree on before a partial shutdown, the bill includes about $866 billion for the Department of Defense and other provisions that will provide service members with a 5.2% pay raise. Let me see what these other provisions are in the Department of Defense bill, if I can find that information. Oh, Twitter. Oh, great. We're getting news from Twitter today. Perfect. All right, this is according to Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House. Let's see if this loads. I have a lot of things cooking right now. Okay, so Department of Homeland Security gets more funding, increased funding. So it increases ICE detention bed capacity for nearly 42,000, an increase from 34,000 literally in last fiscal year. It funds 22,000 Border Patrol agents and cuts 20% of NGO funding. Yeesh. All right, so it also increases funding for the Department of Defense to modernize our military, provides an overdue pay raise for our troops, and cuts wasteful partisan programs. I don't like how that sounds, Mike Johnson. I don't like how it sounds. So this bullet point says provides service members with 5.2% pay raise, largest in decades. 1.2 billion in the fight against the flow of illicit fentanyl and counter narcotics. What? Jeez. Okay. Prohibits funding for the Wuhan Institute of Virology and Eco Health Alliance in China. I didn't even know that was being funded. Policy wins for Mike Johnson says it reaffirms the commitment to Israel by fully funding an annual security commitment of 3.3 billion. Prevents the Consumer Product Safety Commission from banning gas stoves. That was never a thing. Only allows the American flag. And okay, that's the part. Maintains the Hyde Amendment. I'm trying to remember. No, he maintained the Hyde Amendment. What? What? Oh my gosh. Okay, so for those who don't know, the Hyde Amendment is pretty much like federal funding towards like abortion costs. Um, I thought Biden was trying to get rid of that. I think the current Hyde Amendment, the current iteration, allows for exceptions for that endanger life or the result of rape or incest is the only time that the Hyde Amendment like allows for federal funding for abortions. So they kept the Hyde Amendment. That's another Republican win. Can't lie about that. So, another spending cut says they cut 6% of overall foreign aid funds, including enhanced and new conditions on assistance to organizations like the UN. Ooh, 6% UN funding, shit. Eliminates funds to the UNRWA, rescinds 20.2 billion from President Biden's IRS. No! Takes back 6 billion in unused COVID funds. Fuck. Damn, that's a Biden no. Fuck, he cut down the IRS expansion? Ugh. Fuck me. Well, guys, the reason why the IRS expansion is a good thing for funding of like additional things, it helps with our databases. Currently, we use like, I think COBOL. We use COBOL programming for a lot of the IRS internal servers. More agents means they can go after like higher income like tax fraud. So say currently with X amount of manpower, they can go after like a lot of people in the middle class. With more people, that means they have like more resources to tackle like big tax frauders, people that have like lawyers that can fight the IRS back and forth. So say like you and I, people who aren't millionaires or people who aren't billionaires, can only do X amount of like tax fraud before the IRS comes for us and just kills us, blows us to oblivion. Someone's like a multi-millionaire, they can afford like lawyer after lawyer after lawyer after lawyer. Like look at Donald Trump and like all the things he was able to do for the past like 4 or 5 decades as a business person. He's able to do so many things because he had like lawyers to back him up. Like you and I can't do fraud like that. So that's why the IRS like being bolstered up and like aggrandized helps out because they can take on bigger targets. It's kind of like in a video game where you have like X amount of like attack points and you're like, okay, I can attack these like lower level targets or these big bosses, right? It gives IRS the ability to take on bigger bosses with more ease. Okay, so other provisions, the bill also expands access to affordable child care and allocates $1 billion for Head Start, a federal program that promotes the school readiness of children and low income families. Yep, and pretty much that is it right there. So ultimately, my thoughts, there were a few W's, a few fucking W's with the spending provisions and a lot of L's. The biggest L is probably the IRS L. That was the most heartbreaking one in my opinion. The Hyde Amendment, it's not great, but we lost Roe, so it's I'd like that be turned over. But if we have to give that one up, then that's fine. That's fine. At least we can still federally fund like rape and incest abortions and like abortions that are like damaging to the life of the mother. That's fine. Head Start, $1 billion for Head Start. That's really good. I think it's really good that low income families, especially children of low income families, have like the ability to become literate faster and to get into education a lot faster. The biggest heartbreak though is the fucking IRS cutting. Oh my god. Oh, that's painful. But also another W is the 5.2% like military pay raise. That is a historic pay raise for military personnel. A lot of military personnel, like, while they have a lot of benefits from the government, like paid education, VA programs, like a lot of their liquid cash is pretty low, and they get screwed on a lot of things, unfortunately. But yep, guys, tell me your thoughts in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. It's your boy Tachi Politics. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out.